Shellyse TV. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Oh.
Hey everybody, I'm back to talk about the latest episode of This Is Us. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe because I will be here doing recaps of all the episodes of this season of This Is Us. Okay, now let's get into this episode. Now, let's talk about the past, the flashbacks. So, they kind of fast forwarded a little bit to where the kids are like 8 years old. And Rebecca and Jack, they're still together, still trying to work it out, but you can see that Rebecca is the one doing most of the raising of the kids. Jack had just recently got a new job and, he's out working and, providing for the family, but she is doing the bulk of the work with the kids. And you can tell that there's a bit of a strain. Like that morning when she was making breakfast, she didn't make coffee, so he walked over to the coffee pot and was like, "Ain't no coffee in here." And she's like, "Did you forget where the coffee was? Like, you can make it yourself, you good." And he walked up to her and he was like, "Did you forget where my lips were?" And she was like, "Oh, I know where they at." And, they kind of, had this strained moment. Then they kissed each other and he went on off to work. The big problem that's going on is he's not being there. He's not present. So she's doing everything. She's making sure the kids are taken care of. It's three of them. She's trying to help manage Kate's weight because, that's an issue for her already. It was a funny moment in the beginning because Rebecca had gave Kate this, whole big old piece of cantaloupe for her breakfast. And Kate was looking like, "Mama, really? They get to eat cereal and I'm over here eating fruit?" And Jack just walked up and, he sprinkled some cereal on the top of her cantaloupe. And Rebecca was like, "Come on, I'm trying to help her. You are not helping." But, there from early on, there was a problem with her weight. And so, Rebecca was trying to help her with it. But I just thought that was a good moment. Such a daddy moment. Like, girl, I don't care how big you are. I love you anyway. But, Rebecca's just trying to get her healthy. I'm sure she loves her just as much. And one of the problems that the kids were having was the kids at school were teasing Randall because, of course, he's black and his whole family is white. So they've been calling him Webster at school. And Kevin was not being a good big brother. He was also calling him Webster. They got into a little fist fight about that. And at school, he didn't take up for his brother. But, I guess I can feel Kevin's pain a little bit because number one, he's a kid. So, of course, he's not going to handle things like an adult. But, he has one brother who is black and he also has a sister who is overweight. So, it's just like he has these two siblings who are weighing him down in the popularity contest. But, the kids love him. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of played out throughout their life. But, as they grew up, they're really not as close, but we'll get into that when we go into the present time. So Miguel and Jack are having drinks, and Jack is kind of complaining about his life and what's going on and how his wife is so much different now, and he's just venting. And so Miguel got him together. He was like, excuse me, I know you ain't over here complaining because your wife sets the bar to what wives should be. You shouldn't be complaining. Okay, understand what she's going through every day. Stop being so ungrateful and look at what you got at home." And he kind of got them together, and Jack was just like, okay. And then eventually when Jack got home, he came home late and he had been drinking, and she sat him down real nice and cute, and she was like, "I'm not going to tolerate this. I understand, you going through something or whatever the case may be. I love you. I really do. But you have to be present." And she let him know, "Look, when you are in your element, you like a 10 with these kids and with me. You're just so good at it. But when you're not here, we run it on like a 7, and that's being gracious." She said, "Because, we would be a 10, but you bringing us all the way down to a 7. And she got them together and she's like, "Look, I'm not going to tolerate it. And we're not going to have this in my house. You're not going to be coming in here drunk. You're not going to be staying out late. You're going to have to be more present. And this is just how it's going to go. Or we're going to have another conversation." You know what I mean? And I know she was probably talking about me and the kids gonna be up out of here because I'm not gonna tolerate it. I love you, but no, we're not gonna do that. So after that little speech she gave him, it got him together, and he told her, "Look, I can change. I can stop drinking because I love you." And he told her when he met her, that was the moment he knew what he wanted to do and be in his life. He needed to be in her life forever. And it was just so sweet and so nice. And we got those tingly feelings like we did for them in the first episode, just to feel that love. And they needed to reconnect. And I think, they're going to be back on the right path. And you know what's funny? When Randall and Kevin had gotten into it, Rebecca went in there and she talked to both of them. And, she told Kevin, you need to learn how to be more nice to your brother. And she told Randall, take care of him. Make sure he's good. And, and I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what she said. You gotta just, you know how your brother is. So you just gonna have to help him get through this. He's not as strong as you are. And so now let's go to present day. Kevin has to go to this executive party so that he can kiss butt because his agent Laney told him, look, I'm here to tell you that contractually you are stuck with this company for the next 2 years. And if you walk away, you're not going to be able to do anything. Like, no more shows, no more nothing for 2 years. This is in your contract that you signed. So you're going to have to go kiss and make up and get on back to this show and make your money. So he goes and tells Kate, look, I'm going to have to go to this party. I can't go by myself. Will you please go with me? So Toby says that he wants to go too. So they all decide to go together. But let's back up and talk about how Kate went off in that meeting, that support meeting. Oh, honey, she gave it to two people in there. Old girl, the skinny girl who's in there who has weight issues. Y'all, how did y'all feel when she ate her face up? When she was like, look, you ain't here complaining about, how big you are, and I understand you going through your little problem. Once again, I'm paraphrasing. And she was like, if you ever want to know if you're skinny or not, go step on the scale, girl, and you weigh 105 pounds. That'll let you know you still skinny. I was laughing too hard at that. I was like, oh, okay, girl, calm down. And Toby was just looking at her like, girl, what's going on? I thought he was going to start laughing because, he's cynical like that. So later on, she expresses why she's so frustrated because she's doing the work, but she's not losing the weight as fast as everyone else. And she's still struggling very hard, to get over this weight issue. So fast forward to this party. Now, Kevin goes in there and he's like, I got it all together. I'm not going to stay on this show. I understand that I'm in this contract for 2 years, but can we just break the contract and just let me go, do what I need to do? And the executive guy was like, no. Until your contract is up, we own you. And if you try to do something else outside of this, I will destroy you. No one will remember who you are. So he got upset about it. He went and he sat down and he thought about who he could call to, kind of make him feel better. And he picks up the phone and calls Randall. Now, you can tell that their relationship is still strained because Kevin even says, I know I haven't been a good brother to you. And Randall was like, no, you really haven't. But at the end of the day, they still love each other. And Randall gives him advice. And he told him, look, mom and daddy didn't raise no horse. So do what you need to do. You're strong enough to do it. If that's what you want to do with your life, then you go for that and you achieve it. So he gave him, some comforting advice. Kate, she showed up and was like, hey, Randall. And they also alluded to the fact that Randall and Kate, they talk all the time. So they stayed close anyway. In the end, Kevin went in there and he was like, look, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. I'm out. And he also says that he wants to move to New York to do Broadway. What do y'all think is going to happen? Do you think that's a good idea for Kevin to try to do theater? Do you think he's going to fall on his face? I don't know what's going to happen. I think he's talented and he's going to find his way. But I don't know how I feel about him leaving his sister and moving all the way to New York. Tell me what y'all think about that. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is Randall and his father. So that his wife is very concerned because Randall is becoming engulfed in the idea of trying to help his father because he's sick. And she actually sits down and has a talk with his dad. And she tells him, look, my husband is a super husband. He is such a good man all the way through, but he also has a vice. And his vice is trying to be perfect. And she said, and when she was pregnant, he called out for her. And when she went to see about him, he had went blind. Like literally could not see because all of the pressure of all these years of trying to be perfect and trying to be a better man and trying to be strong for everybody and just go through all this stuff. He was trying to be so perfect that it all caught up to him, and it was very damaging to him physically, literally. And so she was like, now listen, you are almost out saying you're welcome around here, because she got suspicious because the dad was getting up every day, getting money from Randall and leaving and being gone all day. Then he would come back at night. So she asked him straight out, what are you doing every day? Because she suspected that he was back on drugs. And he was like, no, it's not drugs. It's not anything like that. And he told her that he has a cat. And the cat has, some little medical problems. So he has to go back and forth and see about his little cat because he's taking care of it. And then she was like, oh, I feel like such a bee now. And they all started laughing because Randall walked in the middle of them talking. And he's like, what are you doing? Corner my daddy, hemmed him up. I told you he could stay as long as he wanted to stay. But she wanted to make sure that it was what it was. But the shocker of the whole episode was at the end of it, while Randall and the family, they were all, getting ready, I guess, for school, getting the kids ready to get up out of there. And it was so cute because the granddad, he actually had the inhaler for the little girl, and he gave her her little puff. And it's like something that they do for her every morning because of her asthma. And there was a knock at the door, and the kids run to the door, and they say, okay, it's the grandparents, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, ain't Jack dead? So when they pan up, guess who it was? It was Rebecca, and Miguel, Jack's partner. Now, mind you, remember in the flashback, Miguel was the one that was telling Jack how good he had it, and his wife was amazing and all that. And then I guess after Jack passed away, he just swooped in and married her. Now I want to know the story behind that. Now, Miguel, now was you being shady? What happened? I'm real interested to know how that happened exactly, because that looked like some shady stuff to me. But it might be, something that's, the story of how they ended up together might be okay and decent. But right now, I'm just giving him the side eye like, really? You married your partner's wife? Like, was you planning that the whole time? Like, what are you doing? I'm ready to see how. Y'all let me know. What are y'all's predictions about how they became to be a couple and together and married? I don't know how I feel about that yet. But anyway, these are all the things that happened in this episode. So if I left anything out, please drop it in the comments below and we'll keep the conversation going. And I'll see you all in the next video, okay? Bye.